Hello, this is Smarto Day and welcome to my lessons, SD Lessons. Let me explain you the nervous system of the human beings. Look at the picture clearly. Before that, let me tell you that our body is made of trillions of cells, many cells. 1 and 12 zeros to 14 zeros, so many cells we have in a body. And they are all connected to each other by two ways. They are connected. There must be a connection so that the body, the organism, we as a whole, survive only when the cells are connected to each other. Now, they are connected in two ways. One is the nervous system, which I will talk about. The nervous system, you see, it's like as if there are some many wires in the body. You can see like wires that are leading all to the brain. Here you can see the brain, and from the brain again the wire goes down. You see it's like wire. That is the nervous system, which I will explain you. And there is another way that the cells are connected is by a kind of chemical messenger, a chemical which we called hormones. Now, these hormones are produced by certain glands. The system is called endocrine gland, endocrine system. There are several glands that produce those hormones, those chemical, which are poured into the blood, and the blood carries to the entire body and it works accordingly. Now, I am not going to explain the endocrine system now. What I am going to explain is how the nervous system functions. Imagine that we have the brain here. You can see the brain here. And then the brain, there you see a white part which goes through the backbone, that is the spinal cord. So, this brain and the spinal cord, and then you find some white colored, I have shown you with white like wires, they are the nerves. So I'll be talking about how it is functioning. So before that, we must also understand one thing, that this brain, the spinal cord, these nerves are made of tiny cells. Some of the cells are very small, some of the cells are very thin and long, about 1 meter long also. Now, let me show you a picture of a cell, nerve cell or neuron. Then it will be easy for us to understand how they are functioning and the various parts. So, let me change the page and show you the neuron. Well, look at the picture of a nerve cell or a neuron. You can see this part which looks like a star is actually the cell body, which is called cyton. So let me write this side, cyton, cyton, cyton. And you will find some very fragmented like roots. So that is cytoplasmic extension of this cell body. So this very fine like roots, these are called the dendrites. And then the dendrites, if you follow me, is joined to form the dendron. So the information I will tell you, which I will tell you later in details, the impulse passes from the dendrites to the dendron through cyton, and then it goes through one of the dendron which is long. You can see one of them. I have shown you with the black one, which is called axon, and it is coated with a sheath. You can see here it is coated with a sheath that is called the medullary sheath, and another sheath which is thin outside, yellow color lined, that is neurolemma. So it has sheaths. Not that all the neurons have sheaths. Some have sheaths, some do not, depending on their function. And then finally you will note that it ends with the terminal branches here. Now this is one nerve cell or one neuron. So the message goes this way, goes down and ends here. And then it connects with another neuron, means another dendrite, then dendron, then the cyton, and it goes down. So that means one cell is here like this. The information goes in this way. Another neuron joins here and goes here. Another neuron will be here and like that. So 2-3 neurons can be joining. But remember one thing, that there is no direct contact between the neurons. Here there is no direct contact. There is a small gap, a small cleft, a small gap is left, that is called synaptic cleft, and only a kind of chemical messenger that passes through. They are called neurotransmitter. Some examples, one example I can tell you, acetylcholine. So that is a neurotransmitter, you learn in details later on. But that is how the information goes down and to another neuron. Well, so once again, the dendrite, the dendron, the cyton, the axon, and it goes down to the terminal branches. And this is how the message goes. Now, having known the neuron, let me tell you the other things. Well, children, before I go to the brain, let me tell you the types of nerves and the nervous system, that it has been divided into 3 parts. So let me tell that. Now look here, follow me. This brain and this spinal cord, it consists of the CNS, central nervous system. Means they are controlling, they are like the CPU of the computer. Central nervous system, CNS, consists of the brain and the spinal cord. Then you find the PNS, or the peripheral nervous system, PNS. Periphery means near the surface. Periphery means surface. The periphery nervous system, that means it carry the messages to the skin or the organs. So that means this white one, which from the spinal cord you can see this gone to the hands or legs. This is a part of the peripheral nervous system. Sometimes from the brain also, if this is the brain, it carries to the eye, to the ears, to the eyes here, and suppose this is the brain. So it also carries to the peripheral nervous system, to the sense organs or the skin or muscles. And there is another one you try to notice here with the fluorescent green color I have shown you here. You see 2 lines are there, like beads, small beads. That is ANS, or autonomous nervous system. They are automatically, functioning, like they are increasing the heartbeat or decreases the heartbeat, increases the breathing or decreases the breathing. Means the internal organs, automatically it functions with the help of this ANS. So you see the nervous system has central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomic nervous system. So these are the 3 systems. Remember, central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system taking to the skin, the muscles, and periphery of the body. And autonomic nervous system functioning automatically. So with this, I will go to the next. I'll show you the brain. But before that, one more thing I need to tell you, the type of nerves. If the information, see here, sensory nerves means that which carries the messages from the skin or the sensory organs from the eyes to the brain or to the spinal cord. If it carries messages from the sensory organs, so sensory nerves carry it from the skin or from the sense organs to the brain or spinal cord. Motor is just the opposite from the brain or spinal cord towards the sense organs or skin and muscles, and mixed nerves carry both ways, means to and fro. So sensory nerves that carry towards the brain or spinal cord from the skin or muscles or the sense organs. Motor nerves opposite direction from the brain spinal cord towards the muscles or sense organs, and mixed nerves to and fro both directions it moves. So let me change this page and show you the brain and how it functions. Well, now let me tell you the various parts of the brain. One thing needs to be understood, that here outside here there is a membrane. Now not is, but there are three membranes. Here I hope you can see it now clearly. Here now it is clear. There are three membranes which are called meninges, and the names are pia mater, arachnoid, and dura mater. So three meninges or three layers are here, which has a kind of fluid in between the membranes, which we call cerebrospinal fluid. That fluid, it helps like a shock absorber. Any kind of jerk or anything, that means it protects the brain. And also it nourishes because it keeps it moistened and provides certain nutrients. So that is there, the meninges, three meninges, pia mater, arachnoid, and dura mater. So all these are outside, means outside is the hardest, that protection, that is the skull or cranium, then the meninges, and filled with the cerebrospinal fluid. Now let's see, now let us see, look at this part now. Okay, I hope you can see it, this part. Now this part you see here, big, very big up to here. This is the largest part of the brain and it is called the cerebrum. Cerebrum, that is the largest part of the brain. Almost 4/5 part of the brain is the cerebrum. What it contains? It contains billions of neurons, and there an outer layer is gray. It is gray, inner layer is white. The outer layer gray, you will find a lot of folds. If you see any brains, animal brain, a goat's brain, you can notice this, that the outer layer is gray and it contains the cytin part. Okay, so the neurons, the cell body, you will find in the gray part. Okay, and then the inner one you find the white matter. So outer we call here, outer we call the gray matter, inner we call it cannot be shown now here, it has to be dissected to be shown that the outer layer is the gray matter and the inner layer is the white matter. Anyway, I am not going into details of that, just to tell you that this is the cerebrum. It is the largest part of the brain. Its function is to think, to memorize, to reason, to feel pain, pressure, emotions, all this the cerebrum does. And here you look at here at the back, this part, this is the cerebellum. What it does, it balances the body, it helps to balance, and it also coordinates the muscles. So whenever we are running, jumping, walking, if you are a good athlete, good cricket player, and you jump and then take a beautiful catch, it's all because of this cerebellum. Anyone who has a very well developed cerebellum will be a very good acrobat, will be a fantastic player. So cerebellum, that coordination of the muscles is very important. Those who have a well developed matured cerebellum, coordination of the muscles will be also very good. And then you will also find another part which is called pons and medulla oblongata here. which continues as the spinal cord down there. With pons and medulla oblongata, that is, it helps in the automatic, it controls the heartbeat, the breathing and all that. So the internal organs. Okay, that's the pons and medulla oblongata does. Cerebrum, here number one, cerebrum, thinking, memorizing, logical, pain, pressure and all that. Cerebellum, this one number two, cerebellum, balances and coordinates the muscles. And this one number three, what it does, heartbeat and or automatic, that heartbeat, breathing and all that it controls. So these are the three parts, but then one thing has to be understood very well, that the way this brain is shown here in the picture, that is, it is longitudinally separated. There the two hemispheres are there, means we are trying to see, imagine the brain has been split longitudinally from the middle, it has a fissure and it is separated. Then we can get a picture something like this. Okay, and then we can see this yellow one like a membrane here, which you learn in class 9, 10, corpus callosum, that connects the two hemispheres of the brain. You will find a space here. Ventricle means an empty space. Actually, it is not empty. It is filled with cerebrospinal fluid. The cerebrospinal fluid is also there between the meninges. It is also there in this ventricle here. It is also there. You will find these are all connected with the cerebrospinal fluid. These are all connected with the cerebrospinal fluid. And then it is connected with the spinal cord. So the cerebrospinal fluid is actually flowing through, in between the meninges, through these ventricles and the spinal cord. So each and every neuron is actually connected with this cerebrospinal fluid. Remember that. There's a very important thing here. You find the thalamus. I did not say about that. You learn later on. You learn about the hypothalamus. You learn about the very important organ here which is hanging down here, the pituitary gland. And there is a very also another very important one, which is the pineal gland. It forms hormones, pineal gland. So all these very important things can be dealt later on, but at the moment I am not dealing with this. Just to tell you one more thing, let me change the page. Now let's understand this reflex action. That means how the spinal cord works. It works in two ways. One, in the beginning I told you, any stimulus, it is carried by the sensory neuron via the spinal cord to the brain, and the brain again takes it back after processing. The brain takes it back through the spinal cord and motor neuron, it goes back to the effector. That is told, that is one function of the spinal cord. But sometimes the certain things needs to happen too fast, and if this process of going up to the brain and coming back from the brain after processing, it will be lengthy and it needs to be avoided. That time this reflex action or the message is quickly given, processed and given back by the spinal cord itself. So let's see here, look at here number 1. I show you with an arrow. So from the receptor, the skin, suppose you touch a very hot object, your skin gets the stimulus, it passes quickly that 1, and you see it goes to 2 here in the middle here, and then it 3, and it goes back to the effector or the muscles again, and quickly we withdraw our hand. So this happens fairly fast. So no, the brain is not involved, so it can happen quickly. This is called reflex action. Now you must be thinking, how is this one a part of the spinal cord? Now if the spinal cord is like this long from the brain, it is like this, and if we cut it TS or transverse section in this manner, and then this whole thing is magnified. We see something like this. So that is a magnified view of the TS of the spinal cord. We call this the message. See, like number one, we call this, it enters to the spinal cord through this one. You see this green part, this is called dorsal root, means the backside of the spinal cord. And then this is called the ventral root, that is the front side of the spinal cord. So enters through the dorsal root, then you will find, you see the red color, you can see the red color, that sensory neuron, and there is an intermediate neuron, association neuron, and there is another neuron, that blue color, that is taking it back. So reflex action involving three neurons, quickly it goes back from receptor to the effector. So this is how it works. But then this reflex action also, we say there are two types, means I will deal later on in details, but just to tell you, like a baby, a newborn baby can feel the heat, can cry if an ant bites, doesn't require to have any knowledge, pre-knowledge for that. So that is unconditioned reflex action. So heat, touch of any hot object, or if someone gets pricked by something sharp, removes the hand. Even a newborn baby will do that. So that is unconditioned reflex action. But then if you start riding a bicycle and you know it, you ride it for few days, few weeks, and then all of a sudden someone falls in front of you and your hand goes quickly to apply the brake, without thinking, without much thinking, someone jumps in front of the cycle and you apply the brake, then that is conditioned reflex. Means you have developed that reflex, you have developed that by practicing it, like someone playing guitar, someone playing harmonium, synthesizer, all this, the fingers, instead of without thinking also one can play. So that is conditioned reflex. So you learn more about all these things, very interesting things, boys, children, I mean children. So today I end the class. Bye bye. See you again.